basis of jazz is blues and swing. That's the basis of jazz music. It's not me talking. Louis Armstrong said it. Duke Ellington said it. Monk said it. Train. Ornette Coleman, his innovations are blues-based innovations. So any progression in jazz will be based on a blues and a swing or a groove innovation. What we find in the history of jazz is that each generation of jazz musicians extend, elaborate, and refine different aspects of the blues idiom, and that becomes their innovation. That's their contribution. Now, another element that we have besides the blues is called groove. We know it as swing. And every type of music has different grooves. Grooves are a signal and a sign of the vitality of a people. Now you take the term progressive jazz. That's a curious term. Right, you take the jazz of, let's pick a year. Let's say 1960. In 1960, Duke Ellington's band was playing. Coltrane just started his band. Mingus had his band. Monk had a band on the road. Horace Silver was out working. Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. The list goes on and on. Taking artists like John Coltrane. All right, now, as a jazz musician, harmonically, rhythmically, melodically, texturally, emotionally, spiritually, are we to believe that some of this music called progressive jazz is a progression on what John Coltrane was working on in 1960? What I mean is, in definite harmonic terms, innovations above John Coltrane's, rhythmically, melodically, we have definite objective criteria that we can use. And if we use them, then we find that very little has been done. If we use the work of Duke Ellington, and we don't just discuss it from a personal standpoint, like, well, I like the way this guy sounds. If we use objective criteria, it's very difficult for us to see where, except in the realm of texture, and that's because of the advent of synthesizers. So, of course, those people who use synthesizers, those instruments weren't available before, so that's a new thing. But so far as the use of, harmonic use of, the use in the context of the blues, the use in the context of swing, very little has been developed because jazz musicians and people who listen to jazz don't believe in studying past generations. Let's say if you go to study composition at a conservatory or something, well, the first thing you're going to do is deal with 16th century vocal counterpoint. They're not going to give you a score of Bartók and say, here. Then you deal with Bach, then Haydn, then Mozart, then Beethoven, then Brahms, then Wagner, then Strauss, or so on and so on. Then Stravinsky, then Bartók, then Schoenberg, then Hindemith. Like, you go through the lineage of that music, and you are required to know something about it. You don't just say, oh, I'm Winton Marsalis, I'm a composer of classical music. I write what I feel. But what has happened in jazz music is that there's been very little respect for information. So what ends up happening is that all a musician has to do is have a following, and he becomes innovative. Maybe he'll make some new sounds. Right? That's one form of innovation. But the heart of jazz music is blues and swing. So what you have to do to be considered an innovator in jazz music is either rhythmically innovate, like Charlie Parker did, or you have to innovate from a blues standpoint, like Coltrane did and Monk. Because this is so much a me generation and me this and I want. The thing that we all have to understand is our time too will be past. And if you don't show respect for your elders and you don't show respect for things that deserve respect, then you too will be relegated to something of the past and thrown out and considered as some garbage for the next new fad that will be sadder than what you were because it won't even be informed with what you had. You know what I'm saying?